Hi, I'm Michael from Curry Traders. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to make, let's have a look, how to make a butter chicken. Okay, so we've got our packet. What we're going to do, we're going to open it up. Let's take out the bags of spices. And then we're going to pull out our recipe. And we're going to go to step one. Step one is preparation. First of all, we're going to chop the onions. We're going to chop our garlic. We're going to chop our ginger. We're going to chop our tomatoes. We're going to get everything prepared, all done, so then we can start marinating our chicken. Okay, let's just have a look at our ingredients. First of all, we have a kilo of chicken, which I've chopped into sliced pieces. Second of all, we have 5 onions, which I've already pre-chopped. We have ginger, garlic, 5 chopped tomatoes. You can use a tin tomatoes if you like, but I like to use fresh on this occasion. We also have 75 grams of butter, 1/4 cup of yogurt, 250 ml of cream, vegetable oil, lemons. So after we've done all the preparation, we're going to follow the instructions and we're going to go to bag 1. What we're going to do with bag 1, we're going to cut the top off. We're going to put all those beautiful fresh spices into the mortar and pestle. Then we're going to break it down. Then we're going to give it a good grind until so it looks like a beautiful powder. This is the fun part. This is what I like doing. As you can see, it's very, very easy and good fun. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes of me grinding. This is how you want it to look. You want it to be a beautiful fine powder. The secret to getting a really good powder is the mortar and pestle. You really need a good mortar and pestle that's got the beautiful rough mortar and the really rough pestle. I don't know which is which, whether this is the mortar or this is the pestle. But anyway, and if you want to cheat, you can always use a coffee grinder. That's fine too, but I always love to do it the real way because this is what it's all about. This is authentic curry cooking. Okay, following the instructions, we're going to get bag 3 and we're going to add it to the mortar and pestle. That's easy. And add bag 3. With a bit of a mix. Okay, then on to the next stage. Okay, then what do we do? We've mixed bag 3 with bag 1. Okay, and we're going to pour into a large bowl. Let's get ourselves a large bowl. Okay, grab yourself a bowl. It doesn't matter what sort of bowl, as long as it's quite big. We're going to add all those spices into the bowl. Then what are we going to do? We're going to give a squeeze, using half a lemon. We're going to squeeze that juice in onto those spices. Actually, I might use a full lemon. Okay, then what are we going to do? It says here, add half the ginger, half the garlic. Okay, so let's do that. Let's add half the ginger. So after we've added our garlic and ginger, we're going to add our yogurt, which is 1/4 cup of yogurt. Then we're going to add our vegetable oil, half the vegetable oil to the mix. And then we're going to season with 1 tablespoon of salt. I'll grab my shaker, we're going to add some salt. Okay, we're going to give that a mix. This will form a paste. Look at that, as you can see, that is looking absolutely fantastic. And what we're going to do, we're going to add the chicken to this. We're going to add the chicken to this and marinate it, and then we're going to set it aside. Look at that, that is absolutely beautiful. Okay, then what does it say to do? We are going to add our chicken. Okay, let's add our chicken. We're going to give it a good mix. Wow, look at that. That looks and smells fantastic. Wow, look at that. Okay, look at that. That is fantastic. So give that a good mix in. Mix that in well. Coat all that chicken. So it's all fully coated in the spices. Beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to do now with that, once that's coated, we are actually going to set that aside now. You can actually leave it for about an hour. Just put it in the fridge. We're going to set it aside. And we're just going to let that yogurt marinate the yogurt and spices marinate into the chicken. And that's what's going to give us this beautiful flavour. Okay, it's been about an hour. We've had that set aside in the fridge. What we're going to do now, what I've done is actually about 10 minutes ago, is I've preheated the oven on high. What we want to do now is we want to put this chicken into an oven-proof dish. And what we're going to do, we're going to put it in the oven on high for about 12 to 15 minutes just to burn the outside, blacken the outside, not cook the chicken through. We're going to make it look like it's been cooked in a tandoor. Okay, so my oven's on. I'm going to pour the chicken into the oven-proof dish. We're just going to put that in there. We're just going to spread that out. As you can see, we're going to whack that into the oven for approximately 12 to 15 minutes. Like I said, what we want to do is we want to get that beautiful black, little bits of black, beautiful red, rich chicken look. So let's put it into the oven, shall we? Okay, now we're going to whack our chicken into the oven. We've had that oven preheating now for about 10-15 minutes. We're going to put it on the top shelf. We're going to put it in there, we're going to leave it, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Right, the next step is, I've read the instructions, so what we're going to do, we're going to, on a medium heat, medium to low heat, we're going to throw in the balance of our oil, and then I'm going to throw in the onions. I'm going to let that heat up a bit. And I'm going to throw in the onions. Now, the secret to cooking a very good curry is, what you must do is, we don't want to burn these onions, but we want to cook them long enough so that they're translucent in colour, they're very, very soft, they're just beautiful and soft and lovely. Okay, so we're going to leave that on medium heat now. What we can do now as well, we can add the rest of our garlic and ginger. Coat that in the oil. And what we're going to do now, we're just going to stir this until those onions are beautiful and soft. Okay, so some of the health benefits of curry are, obviously, turmeric is so good for you. It's good for Alzheimer's, good for blood flow. Spices, chili's fantastic for you. Cardamom, cloves. We have nutmeg, which is an aphrodisiac, which we all love. What else is there? We have fenugreek leaves, which is good for the blood. It's a plethora of medical benefits. Also garlic and ginger, which is also fantastic. So let's get back to the onions. Once we're about 3 or 4 minutes into the onions, I'd like to add a little bit of salt, because I think cooking onions, I think you need to add a bit of salt with your onion. So like I just said, we're like 3 to 4 minutes in. I'm going to look at the recipe, and we're actually going to stir. We're actually going to add bag 4, which is the cinnamon quill and the fenugreek leaves. Okay, so let's open that packet. We'll get that in there. So we'll let those cook in amongst the onions. Give that a good stir in. Ooh. Okay, we've given that a stir in. And we're just going to let those onions reduce, like I said, on a very low heat, medium to low heat, and then we'll add bag 2 in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you how Curry Traders started. A friend of mine came over one day and he said to me, I'm going to go to the supermarket, I'm going to buy a jar of curry paste, and we're going to have curry tonight. And I went, no. So what I did is I got all the spices out of the cupboard. I gave him a mortar and pestle. I gave him a quick recipe on how to cook it. What my friend did was, all the spices were in the bag. He looked at them and he said to me, Michael, these look fantastic. This looks fantastic. What you should do is you should package these up and sell them at the markets. Well, that was now 3 years ago. We come up with a range of 6. We sold 100 at our first market. It's now 3 years on. We actually have 20 different products in our range at the moment, and we have currently sold around 200,000 packets. That's how popular it is. We can't actually pack them fast enough because the product is so good. Okay, our onions now are nice and soft and translucent. I'm going to give that a bit of a mix. After reading the instructions, it says to add bag 2. So let's add bag 2. We're just going to fry these spices off with the onion for approximately 1 minute. That just gives off a fantastic aroma. Wow, that is fantastic. Okay, let's just mix that in. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add our chopped tomatoes. I'm going to turn the heat up a bit to medium to high, even on high. We're going to bring that to the boil, cook that right up. We're going to cook those tomatoes down until they're all soft and beautiful. Okay, those tomatoes are really nice now, soft. That onion's nice and soft. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to let that cool 5 or 10 minutes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it into a blender. Okay, that chicken's been in the oven for 12-15 minutes. As you can see, we've just started to get those little black bits around the edges, but inside that chicken's not cooked. So we just wanted to cook the outside, and when we put it into the sauce, that's when it's going to finish cooking. Have a look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. It looks like it's been cooked in a tandoor. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to add our onions and our tomato, and we're going to add it to a blender. But first of all, what we must do is take out the cinnamon quill, because we don't want to put that into the blender. We'll set that aside. Okay, now we're going to add all our onions and tomatoes to the blender without making a mess. Put that in there. Wow, this is fantastic. The smell, the aroma is just absolutely beautiful. So let's get all our spice, all our onions and tomato in there. Okay, let's load it in. Just like that. Okay, so there you go. We're going to use the same pot again, so let's get that back on there without any heat. Okay, let's get the lid on. We'll give that a whiz. If you find that it's sticking too much, it's not breaking down, you just turn that off. We're just going to add a little bit of water. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water. 1/4 cup, just to make that a little bit moist so it'll blend up. As you can see, look at that, absolutely beautiful. Give that a blend for 30 seconds, give it a bit of a shake. Okay, that's going to be nice and creamy now, so we'll just leave that there. So let's get our pot back on. Let's turn the power back on. I just need to turn that power on. Okay, let's get that power back on, turn it up. Let's put this on around a medium heat. So what we're going to do now, we're going to let that pot warm up. While it's warming, we're going to add our 75 grams of butter. So we're going to get that in the pot. We're going to let that melt down. I'm going to turn it up a bit more. We're going to melt that butter. What I'm going to do after I add the butter, once the butter's melted, we're going to add this. And once we've added this, we're going to bring it to the boil, simmer, and then we're going to add our chicken, and then we're done. Okay, so let's just melt that butter down. Wow, it just smells fantastic. Okay, let's just melt that butter down. Alright, that butter's all melted down now. So what we're going to do, we're going to add the contents of our blender to the pot. Oh, we're too hot. I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to mix that in. The rest of that out of there. I'm going to mix that in with the butter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cream. Slowly add the cream. Before I add the cream, I'm going to put the cinnamon cool back in. Now I'm going to slowly add the cream. Stirring that in slowly, mixing it in. We want it to be really smooth and silky. Mix that through. Wow, that looks fabulous. So keep looking at that, nice and creamy, buttery, golden. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So now we've got that sauce. We're going to add the chicken. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. And we're going to bring over the chicken. And we're going to add all that beautiful chicken out of here. To the sauce. Wow, look at that. Okay. What I might do is I might grab my tea towel. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour all that juice mixed with the spices and all the chicken into the sauce. Add it all like that. Wow, that looks fantastic. It's that easy. So what we're going to do now, we're going to give that a mix. That is absolutely beautiful. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring that to the boil. We're going to simmer that for half an hour, till that chicken cooks through. And then we're going to serve it up with some beautiful papadums and some beautiful rice. Absolutely beautiful. What you can do, if you feel it needs a little bit of salt, don't be afraid to just add a dash of salt. You give it a squeeze of lemon. Done. Okay, so that's been cooked now for about an hour. It's now ready to dish up. Okay, there you are. There we have it, ready to serve. The most beautiful butter chicken you've ever had in your life. Now, this is what I cooked it with. Curry Traders. Get online, www.currytraders.com.au to get your packs. Perfectly portioned spice kits to feed the whole family. Guaranteed you're going to want to come back and get more.